Hello and welcome to Brookvale Oval for this all-important second-round clash between Manley Warringah and Cronulla Sutherland. And as the Winfield Cup Premiership table stands, Manley have to win and therefore create a playoff against Penrith for 5th position. This was brought about yesterday with Penrith's big win over Eastern Suburbs. But Manley's record this season against Cronulla is not a good one. They first met in a National Panasonic Cup semi-final played in Lismore, and Jack Gibson's Sharks were most convincing winners by 16 points to 0. And then, only 11 days later, in their first round clash in the Winfield Cup at Ronson Field, Cronulla again were the victors by 26 points to 11. So Jack Gibson in Cronulla's last match of the 85 season will be out to make it 3 out of 3 for the Sharks. But Bobby Fulton, he'll be desperate for a Manly win today to allow his team another chance to hang on to a semi-final hope. The Manly team lineup: Gurr, Bosted, Shearer goes to the centres with Cleal, close out to the wing, Lulawai comes in for Melrose, Hasler, Vorton, Goodway, Ryan, Paulson, Cochrane for Brown and Daly. Cronulla's team readout: Docking, Hurst, Ettinghausen, McGaw, Carney, Harris comes in for Russell in jumper number 30, Wakefield, Hatch, Ellison, Diamond, Hillier, Burns and Whittle. The referee is Mick Stone for this day of decision match for the Manly Eagles. Manley running right to left, and the kick, a very deep one from Shearer, going dead, and it's going to be a line drop out to restart. Pretty ordinary performance by Cronulla here. McGaw and Harris were the two offenders. They had ample time really to take that ball on the full and take it back, but now they find themselves giving it back to Manley through the man who kicked it, Dale Shearer. James Lulawai, not regarded as a kicking 5/8 in the mould of a Tony Melrose. And I would have thought with this Cronulla defensive pattern, the way it has worked so beautifully against Manley in their two encounters, Melrose was very important for his kicking game, if nothing else. This is Daly to play it now, just outside the Cronulla 22. It's gone through to Lulawai and away to Cleal. Cleal away from Diamond. Spun back by Andy Goodway, loosely picked up by Hasler. Vorton. Docking takes it safely, tackled by Ryan. It's the take by Docking. He wasn't pressured very strongly. Ball played now on the 22 line. Cronulla's into the ground. Mark Ellison in the number 9. Craig Diamond wears number 10. Here's Wakefield having his legs cut from under him by Vorton. Kick is not a bad looker, although it's well in field, and Gurr comes out from the 10. Tackled around the legs by McGaw. And ball put down there by Manley, and Cronulla immediately sweeping back onto the attack. This is David Harris. Burns. Carney from dummy half. Able to take the defence on, get the pass away across the ground. Oh, Hilly has floated a long ball out there. And tackled with it is Hurst. Ellison getting it away as he goes to ground. Wakefield turns it around the corner for Hurst again. Cronulla piling the pressure onto Manley's line. Ellison. 5 tackles gone. 6 metres out from the Manley line. The cross kick is on from Captain Hatch, marked in goal by Close, and Close has been held in the in-goal area by Ettinghausen and McGaw. So a line dropout will restart the action. Cronulla have used that tactic a lot. The extravagant kick across ground rather than the up and under bomb. Cleal drop kicks out, docking to the 32, met and tackled by Ryan. This is Harris playing in jumper number 30 in the side for the talented Russell. Here's Burns thinking about sliding the pass, but he held it as he was taken by the Manley props. Here's Hatch. Again, they're inside the 22. And again, Manley committed to pressure. Wakefield giving it inside for Whittle. There it is, out the back from Whittle. Burns across to Wakefield. Wakefield on to Harris. Harris to the quarter. It's gone to Eddinghausen. Eddinghausen looks on the outside, but the defence was there. Away on the 5th goes Carney. There's that cross kick again. Cleal takes it. And Cleal comes outside the 10-metre line to be tackled. So the pressure goes from Manley. Graeme Hughes, I believe, is in a position to talk with Penrith coach Tim Sheens.
Thanks, Ray. Timmy, how's the nerves?
All right, mate. I'm not nervous today at all.
You couldn't sit at home and wait for the result?
No, I thought I'd come out for a nice drive, nice day. Have a look.
Great performance by the side yesterday.
I was very pleased yesterday. Yeah, it was a good effort, and you know, we stood up and be counted a little bit yesterday. I thought we copped a lot of criticism during the week, and I thought we came out of it well yesterday.
Can Cronulla do it, I think?
Well, they've started well, haven't they? So I'll be barracking for them, I think, today. Yeah.
Most important question from yesterday, how was the injury situation for them?
No problems. You know, the people we pulled off yesterday just for a rest, really, more than anything. Yeah.
Good luck is all I can say.
Thanks, Graham.
Graeme Hughes talking to Penrith coach Tim Sheens. Across to Hatch and then to Burns. Burns throws a giant dummy, slides into the middle of the forward area. Little Jonathan Docking has it. He's inside the 32. I can see Craig Diamond on his knees in the back of the play. This is Harris. Good tackle by Goodway. And that's good work there by Hatch, looking after the health of his 5'8". Here's Carney putting it down. Touched by Manley. Well, he's ruled a knock on. He thought he would almost certainly indicate 6 more tackles. I thought Shearer came in contact with it. Diamond getting into the scrum. Won by the Eagles. Luluai. Shearer playing in the centres, getting away from McGaw. Outside the 22. There's the flying Terry Bowstead with it. He got inside. Cleal has put it down, and Cronulla's got the ball.
Manly's great problem on Monday night when they lost heavily to South Sydney was the fact they couldn't control the ball effectively, and realistically they haven't started all that much better today. I'm sure that Bob Fulton would have the jitters, and he'd be looking for a lot better ball control in the rest of this match.
Wakefield lost the ball, but the referee has ruled that it was stolen from him and has given the penalty to Cronulla. You can see the incident again on the slow motion replay. And Daly appeared to be making a legitimate tackle. Cloud coming in from behind us from the west, and a very strong breeze has sprung up as Carney lines up the kick. He stabs it, and he's missed it. Close brings the ball out towards the 10-metre line. 0-0 in this big game between Manly and Cronulla. Dale Shearer taking the line finder. It's been an adventurous kick by Dale Shearer, finding a lot of ground. They'll take the tap 30 metres out from the Cronulla line. Now, Cronulla's had everything going their way. They've been piling on the pressure. Let's see if they can withstand it. Manley on their second tackle on the 22. Here's Goodway going to the blind. Hasler, Luluai, back to Hasler. Now it's over to Paulson, out to Ryan, further out to Vaughton, quick hands to Shearer, across to Chris Close. Close, held about 15 metres out from the line. Closer than that, 10 in fact. Cochrane, Cleel. Back it goes for Cochrane. That's 5 tackles gone for the Eagles. Luluai comes the blind, spins it back to Ryan. Ryan puts in the kick. Not a bad one either with the breeze behind him. Or there was a Manly player, Bowstead, went right up above the pack. And I doubt very much that he was playing at the ball. See it again. But as I pointed out earlier, the breeze has gusted up tremendously since kick-off. And you'd almost have to shorten everything up, I would suggest. And Graeme Hughes, you're sitting down in the teeth of it. And it has sprung up considerably.
Yes, well, Manley have certainly got all the advantages in this first half, Ryan. I think you covered all the points there in that last couple of seconds. They've got to shorten their passes. You can feel the tension and the pressure in this Manley side, though. A lot of balls in this first 15 minutes already hitting the deck. If they're going to win the game, obviously they can't afford that.
Hasler, back to Vaughton. Now to Close, but there's 2 on 1. Plenty of messages going out on that under that Manley line at the moment. Runners galore going out for Manley. Goodway, dummies back for Luluai and picks up Ryan. Here's Hasler. Cleel. Harris around the legs. Eddinghausen came over the top with Hatch. 5 gone as Cochrane runs wide, picks up Goodway. Up goes the bomb. Docking's under it. Doesn't seem to be much talk. There wasn't a great deal of talk between Docking and Hurst. In fact, they caused themselves the only interference that was in existence. This is Burns now to play it. Whittle away from one, turning it back for Burns, who was still on the ground after playing it. And Whittle is injured for Cronulla as the ball is played just outside his 22. Here's Diamond. Oh, good tackle, that one from Manly's Richie Paulson. Daly come over the top, and there's Whittle in number 13, still on the ground. This is Mark Wakefield. Oh, another heavy hit there by the Manly forwards, Goodway and Daly. Kick by Mark Ellison. Gurr takes it, hits a soft patch, and is brought down by David Hatch. What a magnificent year he's had, David Hatch. Luluai, he's heading for the ground in one heck of a hurry. Whittle is still injured for Cronulla. Hasler.
Manley getting back into a lot of their bad habits here. Apart from the drop ball, they're also starting not to support players. Many times in the last few minutes, players have been held in tackles, and they've turned to offload the ball to supports, but it just hasn't been forthcoming.
Cleel pulled down around the bootlaces by Diamond. 5 tackles gone for Manley as Vaughton puts in the kick. It might even go over the dead ball line. It certainly looks that way, and it'll come out to the 22 for the place kick by Cronulla. Steve Rogers played in reserve grade today. I'm surprised to see him brought into this match.
Scored a try in the reserve grade, Steve Rogers, and had a splendid game overall.
This is Wakefield. Take there, Steve Rogers on the bench. This is Harris. Docking. Eddinghausen. 3 dummy half runs by the Cronulla side, and able to make a lot of ground on the 5th tackle. It's with Hatch. It's put down. Manley may have struck for that ball. I think the referee, yes, he is. He's restarting the tackle count. Well, it was thrown backwards by Cronulla, and it did seem that a Manley player kicked the ball. It's pretty hard to criticize the referee when he makes a decision such as that. In fact, I'm almost certain he was right. Played by Carney. This is Whittle. Now he's looking to put Burns into an opening. Almost succeeded. And play is just outside the Manly 22 line. Ball to be played back to Errol Hillier. Wakefield switches play back to the blind. That's Mark McGaw. Stands, gets it to Carney. Carney gets it away. It's with Hatch. Well, there's plenty of defence being used up as Hatch gets the pass to Burns. Burns inside to Hillier. Hillier looked to pass, but there wasn't a runner. But Cronulla's ready to go on the left now. It's with Whittle. A cutout ball taken out there by Harris. Harris ducks under a would-be tackle before Paul Vorton comes in and tidies him up. 5 tackles gone now for Cronulla Sutherland as the ball is put across the ground by Eddinghausen, marked neatly by Dale Shearer, and he's brought down 12 metres out.
Interestingly enough, the last time that Manly missed the semi-finals was in 1980, and in that year they were defeated in the last round, ironically enough, by Cronulla, and it was that loss to Cronulla that put them out of the semi-finals. I just wonder if history can repeat itself.
Well, the way the match has been going this far, there seems every likelihood it's 0-0 Manly and Cronulla at the moment. But here's Des Hasler away and over the halfway line. Docking has made a great tackle, but Hasler ran right away from his only support. It was Paul Vorton. This is Cleal standing and offloading. Gurr is there to pick it up. Gurr goes to the 22 line. Away this time from Wakefield. Taken by McGaw. Looks to pass but can't. And 5 tackles are gone now for Manly. There was a dead-set chance bomb there when Des Hasler ran away from this fellow Paul Vorton, who neatly puts it into the corner, but Hurst was there with no pressure. And they're 10 metres out from their own line now, the Sharks. Docking there to take it from dummy half. Burns, the hooker, has been down injured for a good couple of minutes, and he's jogging back down the park now to get into the line. A cut over his left eye is the report as Wakefield turns defence into attack. And again, there seems to be some fragility around the edge of the rucks there from Manley Warringah. Ellison gets the ball away for Eddinghausen. He spears into an opening, kicks ahead, leads the race for the ball, looks for the bounce, came off the hand of Clark. So not only the skies look ominous at this point in time for Manly. Down 6-0, running with a strong wind. 18 minutes of the first half to go. 18 minutes, in my opinion, for them to score and then establish at least a 6-point break come the half-time recess. And that's a tall order. Here's Whittle running into the opening, running at the gaps. And that's the way to go. But here's the ball coming up with Manley. Played by Ryan. Dale Shearer. Into the centre of the ground. Hasler. Here's Paulson. And now it's back for Andy Goodway. Over the top, though, was Chris Whittle.
Goodway turned then, and he was in the air for a good 2 or 3 seconds looking for support, but it just wasn't there. Everything Manly's doing is a half a yard too slow.
Shearer working with Gurr. Back to Shearer. Ooh, he got under what would have been a high tackle from Hillier. And this is Jonathan Docking. Oh, flirting with the sideline, but making a great fist of it. And coming out beyond his 22, little Docking. It's Ellison. The arm of Diamond. It's been ruled as being knocked backwards, doubted by some of the fans here. Now it's Burns. He's a strong player, this fellow. In fact, he won our man of the match. I think it was the match against North Sydney at the cricket ground a few weeks back. The kick and general play from the boot of Wakefield finds the line, and this scrum will go down on the 32-metre line, Manly's end. Manly scrum. Lulawai. Gurr comes into the back line as a decoy. Shearer's running with the ball. Eddinghausen chases and makes the tackle. Lulawai. Manly have had to rely on the boot of Paul Vorton if and when they've wanted to kick in this match so far. And I said it in Eyewitness News on Friday, and I feel inclined to say it again. I doubt that Tony Melrose was the only bloke that should have felt the guillotine after last Monday. Big run by Quayle. Good ball by Noel Brookvale. Marty Gurr supports him. Hasler will score. Hasler going in to score. Adjacent to the uprights. That's just what the doctor ordered for Manley. Des Hasler, the try scorer. It went like this. A high attempted tackle by Mark McGaw, and then Cleal got through two more and then gave a magic pass for Marty Gurr. And then Des Hasler simply had an open space of 22 metres to greet the scoreline.
Noel Cleal started it all when he pushed off the defence, and then he popped up a great pass in a tackle, and it was Marty Gurr who came through in support, and that's where Manly have been falling down. But on this occasion they had the backup. He drew his opposition fullback and fired a well-timed pass onto Hasler, and he careered away from the opposition.
Des Hasler, the try scorer, 12 metres out, almost in front. And it's an easy one for Mal Cochrane, and Manly have levelled up at 6 points all in the NEC big game. Shallow restart. Oh, it's come off for Cronulla. Carney to McGaw. He backs him up by running around. Eddinghausen does the same. He'll send a kick. No, he holds it back, and Cleal comes in and picks him up like a bale of wool and throws him over the sideline. But this was a neat piece of work by Carney, McGaw and Eddinghausen. Look at this from Cleal. He just picked him up and threw him over the sideline. The strength of this fellow Cleal. Fed by Hasler. And won by the Eagles. Hasler is injured. First tackle for Manley as Hasler regains his feet. This is Paulson. Taken by Diamond Blow, burns up the top, and now to Lulawai. And here's Goodway.
The big difference between having Lulawai at 5'8" and when Melrose was at 5'8" for Manley is that Melrose is a passing and a kicking 5'8". Lulawai is a running 5'8", and obviously that's what coach Bob Fulton was looking for.
It's a big kick by Dale Shearer, sending Jonathan Docking down to his own 10-metre zone. He comes back to the 22, is away from Ryan, taken by Hasler, thinks about passing but opts not to. Here's Carney burrowing ahead about 8 metres, and I've got to say that with reasonable marker defence that shouldn't be on. And there's Hillier able to make a similar gain. Again getting away from dummy half, and here's Wakefield with a short ball for Hurst coming in from the wing. Play almost to the halfway. The Cronulla pattern very, very simple, and that's very much the coaching methods of Jack Gibson, to do the simple things well. This is Hillier now tackled a few metres into Manly's area. And this is the last as Wakefield kicks. It came off the knee of Goodway. He played at the ball. He's restarted the tackle count if Cronulla came up with the ball, but it's with Lulawai. There's Bowstead folding in behind the ruck. And heavens only knows that they need a Bowstead to come in there and do a Steve Morris, do it more often. And now Manly gets a penalty. Back just outside their own 32. In fact, interesting to take note of the Cronulla tactics in this match so far, with a lot of dummy half running and then kicking on the 4th and 5th. And a very similar pattern is set up by the Parramatta side in their win against Balmain the other day. This is Paulson on the 32-metre point. I said it earlier, and I do believe strongly that Manly have got to get in and score again. They'd need to be, I reckon, 6 points in front at half-time. Here's Goodway over the 32, over the 22. The pass has been allowed to go, and Hasler goes in for his second try. Hasler scores under the crossbar, and Manly forged to the 10 points to 6. It was Lulawai to Cleo, runarounds all over the place, and then Gurr comes in, and Goodway finds himself in an opening. It's this pass from Goodway that had a question mark on it, keeping in mind that you must measure the pass in relation to the man who threw it and not in relation to the ground that it may have covered.
This was a set move by Manley. They took the play to the right-hand side of the field and then switched it back towards the centre, but it was still a missed tackle by Cronulla that allowed Goodway to make the break, and this is what's been lacking from Manley play. The back up, and this time it was Hasler again.
So Hasler gets his second try of the match. A pretty dejected Cronulla unit. The kick by Cochrane, straight between the uprights, and Manley leading now by 12 points to 6 in the NEC big game. Wharton coming out to the 22. Strangely enough, Manley, when they've been inside their own 22 and they needed to kick, they've brought the centre Shearer in to do the kicking, and they've got Marty Gurr at fullback, and he's a big kicker of the ball.
And so is Paul Vaughton.
Here's Lulaway turning it around for Paulson. Cleo. By Shearer this time, keeping it low and stabbing it, and Docking comes back to the 32, picked up in cover, picked up in defence there by Goodway. This is Diamond. Scrums and penalties fairly even, although Manley 3-1 the scrums. Ellison just looking down the ground. Carney was down for a moment. He's back on his feet now, though. Across now to Whittle, inside to Wakefield, and he's taken ball and all by Big Daly. Away from dummy half goes Hurst. Good run by him, taking play a few metres from the halfway. 5 tackles gone for the Sharks. It's David Hatch throwing a long ball to Diamond. Diamond tries to kick, came off the shoulder of Ellison back to Lulaway, and it's Manley with the ball on the halfway line. Ryan swarming Cronulla defence, 4 of them going in there. Through Hasler to Vaughton. Back to Hasler. Hasler slowly to his feet and clutching at his head. He's not a well boy. There's Hasler. Cleo away from 2 and taken in a third. 5 tackles gone now for Manley. But as this match has progressed, and even though Cronulla led 6-0, Cleo is causing tremendous problems for the Sharks. Oh, what a bounce for Cochrane. A knock-on has been ruled and a scrum is to go down. Just looking at this closely, it came off the arms of Shearer, yes. Feed across against Burns, the Cronulla hooker. And the differential goes to Manley. Manley sending a runner out. And there's no doubt that he was sent out there to even tell them what play to go for off the penalty. Well, here's Shearer going towards the centre, picking up Lulaway. Back it comes for Vaughton. Now back for Cleo. Cleo held a few metres out from the Cronulla line. Dummy half is Cochrane. Now it's Vaughton shaping to pass, holding it back. Vaughton still only a couple of metres out. Cronulla short on numbers over to the right of the ground. And here's Goodway coming onto it. Goodway a metre out from the line. Cochrane sweeps it away to Ryan. A long pass out to Kerry Bowstead. Floats it over the top for Dale Shearer. Shearer kicks ahead, and a rush between Ettinghausen and Shearer sees a knock-on in goal by Manley, so it's coming out to the 22 for the restart. This is Harris. Ellison. There's plenty of miles through the middle there. Gee, that's a dangerous sign that keeps on showing up in this Manley defensive pattern, or lack of it. And an intercept by Cochrane. Mel Cochrane scores for Manley to lead 16-6. Seconds in front of the break. Talk about two sides of the coin. Everybody interested in rugby league would have seen last Monday night Manley throwing desperate passes and having 3 of them intercepted. And here they are today. There's been 2 intercepts and they've been on the receiving end of both of them, this time for a try.
Manley were probably owed this one, but I thought that Mal Cochrane took a tremendous risk. He left his man to come in and make that intercept, and had he not come up with the ball, it would have been Cronulla running free. That wasn't the case, and he crosses for the 4 points.
Breeze or no breeze at their backs in the second half. Cochrane converts his own try, and it's 18 points to 6 now in favour of Manley over Cronulla in the NEC big game. Siren has sounded. That's the end of the first 40. Here's Graeme.
Well, Ray, in a very open match, defence now becomes all important. Obviously, Manley don't need any more points on the board to win this one, and Bobby Fulton will be pleading, or should I say demanding, for a big defensive effort in the second half, especially from his forward pack.
This is Diamond. They're likely to come across the ground for 4 or 5 plays, Cronulla, and keep coming, and then dropping that familiar cross kick back to where they all started from. And very much that's looking what they will do here. Simple stuff across the ground, and here they come now. That'll be their 4th. Harris to McGaw. McGaw was going to score. Losing the ball out in the field of play. So he was thinking about what he was going to do with it. He's such a tall lad, he could have fallen over the line.
He was thinking about where he was going with the ball, and he didn't have to do anything except catch it, hit that hole hard, and he was over. And wouldn't that have put a complete new complexion on this match?
Penalty to Manley. That's against David Hatch. The referee is saying you must stay in the scrum until the ball has made its exit. This was the scrum. There's the ball still in there, and Hatch was almost in line with the tunnel. Mind you, it could be argued that the ball was behind the second rower's feet. There's Daly going ahead. Good tackling by Diamond and Hillier. And it's with Paulson. It's Cochrane freeing himself from Harris. This is Hasler, scorer of 2 tries. Good tackle by Harris. Lulawai on a run around with Cleo. Vorton. Right on the halfway mark. 5 tackles gone. Cleo. That's a good kick by Cleo. It's come off the hand of Carney. He's been able to take it, and Close is able to tackle him. Ettinghausen beyond the 22. That's Hurst, fully recovered. Whittle. And that's out on the full. So back now for the scrum. Lulawai, Cleo, Hasler, Vorton, again to the New Zealander, and back to Goodway, then to Shearer. He's lost it, and Hurst has the ball for Cronulla. Burns, Hillier. Short ball for Ellison to go into an opening. Back inside for Hillier, backing up well. He's running out of, well, he's run out of everything. Manley's got the ball and Shearer is claimed 30 metres out from his own line. Bowstead. Paulson. Vorton. Goodway. Taken by Eddinghausen. The referee saw the late attempted tackle on Goodway and indicated play should go on. This was the kick by Goodway, and the referee simply ruled that Goodway has run into the back of David Hatch. Remember another Englishman who used to pull off a similar trick, and normally he'd get the penalty, a bloke called T. Bishop. In fact, I think he may have even taught Bobby Fulton the same trick. As here's Cronulla Sutherland with Docking, taking it to the 22. Now to David Hatch. Carney, big cutout ball out for Burns. He restart. Big kick by Dale Shearer. And Hurst brings it back outside the 10. He's reached the 22 line. Wakefield, Harris. Bill's had his say about Manly's defence. Anything to add, Graeme?
Well, plenty, Ray. I think only a few weeks ago we saw Parramatta run to a big lead and then absolutely threw that match away against Eastern Suburbs, to my mind. And that psychologically can happen when you do rush to a big lead. Players tend to start leaving things to each other. And I'm quite sure that this Manly side are very keen to just leave this play to the likes of Noel Cleal and Des Hasler, who were causing all the problems. But if they're going to do that, they're going to catch themselves in trouble. They've got to be the next ones to score.
Graeme, they're looking for the short way to the semi-finals, aren't they?
Well, they are, Bill. They're just got to remember there's two ways to play rugby league, and that is defence and attack. And they're just worrying about scoring tries. That's not going to get them home.
Well, Eddinghausen almost came up with that ball. It was a delicate kick over the top. And Eddinghausen gets a hand to it once, twice. Bowstead has come from the field, incidentally.
And that may be the reason that he missed that important tackle on Craig Diamond.
Davis is on for Manly. They're playing with 12 men at the moment. As Cleal goes back into where the forwards would be only just lifting their heads out of the scrum. Vorton is the man injured for Manly. They're looking at that troubled shoulder of his. He's had it for a big part of this year, Vorton. He's managed to conceal it. Shoulder ligaments for Bowstead. That's the order from Graeme. Glenn Ryan tackled. 6 metres his side of the halfway. This is Des Hasler. Now Andy Goodway. And he's met there by Big Carney and by Hatch. Goodway, I'm not sure whether Bobby Fulton wants him playing wide or whether that's his natural go, but my goodness, he seems to live in the centres. Here's Docking coming back outside the 32. Lulawai and Hasler make the tackle, particularly Hasler. Now it's with Wakefield. This is Hurst. He's a busy player for a winger. David Harris at the moment is out on the left wing. Maybe Hurst has fallen into the middle of the park. Here's Hillier playing it, and this is a penalty to Cronulla. That's against Goodway. Well, the complaints can be long and loud, but when you watch this replay, I'm pretty sure you'll find that Goodway has lifted the leg very early. There he goes there. The ball's got to be on the ground before you can lift the foot. So, a chance for Cronulla off the boot of this man Carney to take a tap and have 6 tackles. I was going to say close to the Manly 22, but he didn't go for very much. He went for safety, and the tackle will be taken by Burns. 18 to 12, Manly leading. As this big fellow Carney comes across the ground, gets a ball away to his skipper, and they've taken it into the centre on one tackle. Here's Wakefield scampering away from dummy half, spearing it out the back for Whittle to Burns. Burns throws the dummy. He's having a big game, this hooker Burns. You like him, Graeme? He looks the goods, doesn't he?
Well, he had a super game against North Sydney in that Monday night match, and he's a very busy guy, always looking for work, and that's the way you want a hooker.
Ellison takes it inside the 22. Dummy half is docking. This man is Chris Whittle. Whittle to the 10. Gets the pass. Knocked down. That's 6. 18 points to 12 in favour of Manly. Steve Rogers is coming on for Cronulla in jumper number 17. Well, how ironic. He would be injured in the very first match of the year against Canterbury, and here he is called on to go on for the last 15 minutes of the last premiership match of the year. That is not putting it back-to-back, Steve. As Manley win the scrum and Rogers went in the lock and made the first tackle on Hasler. I'm told that Diamond's shoulder popped out. Here's McCabe, tackled by Rogers.
You've got an immediate example there of Steve Rogers' strength. He's such a good reader of defence. He read that Hasler was running from the scrum. He picked him off, and he also read that there was a player coming through the middle of the ruck and picked him off. And there he is making the third tackle in a row. He smelt that Noel Clear was going to have a run on his own, and he wrapped him up.
Good way, taken by Whittle. Well, Cronulla will be inspired by just the presence of Rogers, forgetting about his obvious talents. Good way, Davis. Ryan puts it down. It'll be a scrum inside the 22 to be fed by Cronulla. You see this ball put down by Ryan, and then he in fact has another snatch at it, and it is deflected across the sideline. Docking. Taken by Lulawai. Hurst. Horton, the tackler. It's Bobby Fulton perched high in the grandstand with Alan Thompson and Max Krilich alongside him. McGaw, Carney, taken by Close. The battle of the big men. The difference in their playing styles, though, maybe it's, of course, the difference in the coaching styles. I don't know. You've seen Carney living a dummy half, and I don't think I've seen Close in there at all. A kick by Carney, fairly shallow, and Davis goes back with it. Hasler, Ryan. Of course, that drop goal attempt by Marty Gurr would have made it 19-12. 18-12 remains the scoreboard, but a draw, it's no good for Manly. That's why Gurr was looking to get 7 in front. Goodway pushes off a would-be defender. Yeah, he's playing as well as I've seen him play, Goodway, in this match today. Cleo. Rogers has got him. He's passed to Gurr. Looked a little bit forward, but Cochran has got it. Cleo, well, where the hell did he come from? There he is, getting a pass to Hasler. There's number 3. Try number 3 for Des Hasler. And the Manly fans can now prepare for Tuesday night. Quite definitely into the playoff with Penrith now. Hasler scoring the try. Cleo, that was the first time that he was in the play. Rogers took him out of it, but watch him back up. I thought the pass to Gurr was a little bit forward. The pass from Gurr to Cochran was okay, but then Cleo escapes from the clutches of Rogers and then gets this last ball away to Des Hasler, and looking at the camera angle, there was a question mark on it, but the referee didn't ask any questions whatsoever, and it's a try for Manly Warringah.
It's very much been the Noel Cleal and Des Hasler combination that's got Manly home in this game, and for all intents and purposes, they are going to win it. Cleal popped up a pass to Gurr, as he did for an earlier try. This time it was Cochrane in the middle. He got the pass back to Cleal, and then the ever-present Des Hasler, and he's one Manly player that will back up. He knows how to score a try. He took the pass and crosses between the uprights.
So Hasler scores his third try, and looking at that final replay, it did look very much like the pass from Cleal to Hasler was forward.
And a bit of irony in the fact that Des Hasler is an ex-Panther.
Yeah. 22-12 then. The whys and wherefores don't really matter. It's that scoreboard that matters to Manly and Bobby Fulton. And Mal Cochrane converts to make it 24 points to 12 in the NEC big game from Brookvale. So the scrum will go down just 5 metres away from the Manly line. The ball came down. It was a nasty one for anybody to take, but Close was standing on the sideline anyway, which is a fairly sensible place, I suppose, to stand if the ball's coming to you on the full, but it's a stupid place to stand if it's coming to you on the bounce. So Cronulla with Harris. Oh dear, that was closer than it looked. Docking could well have been under the uprights. Instead we see Manly's Dale Shearer coming away. Played back to Davis, and Davis is tackled on the 22. Cronulla getting a replacement ready to come on as Noel Cleal bashes his way over player after player, and Davis is tackled a couple of metres into Cronulla's area. What a game Cleal has had. Very much in patches, though, I've got to say that. When he has handled it, he's caused Cronulla terrible troubles. Chris Whittle is off. Who's on, Graeme?
Michael Porter in 37.
And who'll ever forget the game that Porter had that night at Lismore? Sure, if you had said to him on that particular night, I want to take you back to Sydney and have a go at running through one of the Harbour Bridge pylons, he would have said quite happily yes. That's him with the ball now, losing it. And Harris has gone after it to make a knock-on of it.
And he had to beat 3 Manly players in an effort to do so.
Yeah. Another change coming up for Manly, Graeme.
Darren Rogers in 16 will go on for Glenn Ryan, who's been, as I said, carrying that right leg injury. I would probably think that he goes to the centres, and Noel Cleal in the second row.
Well, as you speak, on goes Rogers, and the penalty has gone to Manly. Yes, Crusher's been told to go into the second row. Ryan comes off. One of the most popular players at Manly is Glenn Ryan. Why wouldn't he be? He's on occasions had to do the work of 2. Paulson. I wonder what might have been for Cronulla had luck been different for them. That injury to Steve Rogers just upset the apple cart entirely. Cleal again causing trouble. Hasler, oh, well, his pass to Cochrane was definitely forward. And the scrummers to go down. Whoops-a-daisy. Well, I can remember at the start of the year, referees were clamping down on balls that were thrown forward by players to teammates, and it was just a straight-out penalty. It's amazing how things seem to change from one part of a season to the next, and of course from year to year. This is Harris. Now it's Carney. Wakefield, Porter. Rogers. Burns. Rogers, Porter. Oh, good pass from Porter, but the referee has deemed it forward. And looking into the sun, Mick Stone. Wakefield across and through. Hasler's with him. Across goes Eddinghausen. He centre kicks. Here comes Big Carney, but Hasler's going to clean it up. Did he clean it up? Yes. Forced in goal by Hasler. You see Hasler put the pressure on Eddinghausen, and then he has to put the foot right down to the floor to force that ball with downward pressure. And here it is from the low-angle camera. No question about the ball being forced by Hasler. We're inside the last 5. 24 to 12. Manley 4 tries to 2. Drop out by Cleal, coming straight down to Rogers. Rogers freeing himself from a tackle. Docking runs off him, and Docking is 10 metres out from the Manley line. Ray Brown getting ready to come on. Rogers going in and making himself very prominent in the exchanges. And here's a knock-on against Rogers for Manley. Ray Brown going on. Cochrane coming from the field. And young Cochrane has scored a try and kicked 4 goals. Total of 12 points for him in the match. As Cronulla come up with the scrum, and Wakefield is met by Paul McCabe. Crowd applauding the performance of young Cochrane. As Carney comes across the ground from dummy half, he runs across to Harris. Hatch spinning it back for Eddinghausen. Out for Porter. Back for Burns. Burns a couple of metres out from the Manley line. Ooh, is Hatch. 2 metres out again from the Manley line. Long ball across to Carney. Carney out the back for Eddinghausen. Hilly is out there. He's on the ball but can't hold it. It's with Ellison. 5 tackles gone. 12 metres from the Manley line. Rogers, the kick across the top and forced in goal. And a line dropout. Hatch. Oh, what a good tackle by Paulson. That was one heck of a tackle by Paulson. Once Hatch got side onto him, it made it ever so much simpler. Wakefield, McGaw. Keep getting the impression, looking at Cronulla, not just today, but through this 85 season, that it's just the lull before the storm.
I think they've given all the indications this year with some of the young players they introduced to first grade that they're going to be a real force.
And the season's leading point scorer coming into the day, Dean Carney, converts. The siren sounds in the background. And the score finally winding up at 24 points to 18. Manley running out victors, entering that playoff against Penrith. There's the scoreboard for you. Manley's 24 points, 3 tries to Hasler, Cochrane a try, Cochrane 4 goals, and for Cronulla, Carney, Diamond and Hurst tries, and Carney 3 goals.
Paulie, so now it's a playoff, eh?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to come back on Tuesday night, but we showed plenty of spirit there today. I'm sure we can do it.
Things weren't looking too good at 18-12.
No, well, they came back at us, but we grafted away, and you know, we've got a lot of improvement before Tuesday night. I think we can win though.
It's always tough to do it from number 5, but now a match that you hadn't planned for, of course.
No, we would like to have had the rest and played next Saturday, but these things happen in football. That's how good a game it is.
Look forward to a good one on Tuesday night.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Paul. A very relieved Manly captain Paul Vorton. After the break, our man of the match.
Manly have reversed their 2 previous losses to Cronulla Sutherland this year with a 24-18 win here at Brookvale Oval. And our man of the match is their halfback, Des Hasler. Congratulations, Des. You're going to have to do it the hard way now.
Yes, we realised sort of our backs up against the wall. We knew that today was a big pressure match, and we had to reach deep down inside to put out something extra special, and I think we did it today.
Manly's support play hasn't been good in previous matches that I've seen, but today, backing up was a feature of your personal game.
Yeah, we had a long discussion about it during the week. We realised that, we think our defence is as good as any sides in the competition, but it's sort of our ball control, and that's sort of backing up the man, we're carrying the ball. So we really worked hard on it today, and it paid dividends.
Would you agree that Manly have still got a lot of improvement left in them?
Yeah, we realise what we have to do. We just have to learn to control that ball a little bit more. We're just pushing that last pass, and we're making 30, 40 extra tackles that we don't have to do.
For taking today's Man of the Match award, you'll receive from NEC the Game Ball trophy and also a cheque for $500.
Just like to thank NEC, the sponsors for the game, and Channel 10 also. Thanks very much.